Today, we're diving into something that I know so many of you have tried. This idea of using manifestation when you are trying to bring your baby home. You've done the journaling, the visualizing, the affirmations. You've tried to stay positive, to believe, to trust. And yet, so often, it can start to feel like manifestation practices just do not work. It doesn't help that so many experts will make you feel like you are the problem, like you're not doing it right, or somehow you are blocking the very thing that you want the most. But what if your manifestation practice isn't broken and you're not doing anything wrong? What if the way you've been taught to manifest is actually missing a really important piece, especially when it comes to fertility? Today, I want to explore why this can feel so hard on your fertility journey, why trying to manifest a baby actually creates more pressure in your body, and what the one shift is that changes everything. This is something that has nothing to do with thinking more positively and everything to do with how safe your body feels to receive.
Welcome to your journey to fertility. This is the podcast that blends science with spirit to give you all the tools you need as you navigate your fertility journey. I'm your host, Jennifer Edmonds, and for the last 15 years, I've been helping women on their journeys to motherhood and beyond. I believe that combining the latest scientific research along with the best energetic and mindset practices will help you to avoid putting your life on hold and bring you closer to your baby. Each week, you'll learn ways to support your fertility and trust your body so that you can stop stressing that you'll never have your baby and finally walk your path to motherhood. This is the Your Journey to Fertility podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me, for pressing play today. And as you well know, if you are a long-time listener of the show, I love this topic. Manifestation is really the ultimate blend of science and spirit. It flows so beautifully into everything that I teach. And it will also work really well with next week's episode where we're going to dive into surrender. Now, I do not claim to be a manifestation expert, but I think there is something fundamentally different about manifesting a baby instead of the things that we see normally being talked about in this space, like more money or a fancy car or your dream job. It is different because it isn't just about you. This is about working with your baby as well. And your baby who will have their own timeline, their own life, and their own plans for coming into this world. There are so many things that need to come together to bring your baby home. So what I want to share with you today is not this traditional way that a lot of experts will teach manifestation, but it's what I see working over and over again with the women who come and work with me. Now, before we get into it, a reminder, it is just 2 weeks today that we begin Embrace the Journey. Now, if you have not come across this event before, it is the biggest event that we run throughout the year. It is my signature free training series. We go live for 3 days. We get to dive into all of the practices that I speak so much about on this podcast. We have 3 days to learn about the science behind fertility yoga, meditation, and breath work, how you can actually use it on your journey. And I'm going to give you a toolbox of things that you can take and bring back out again when you need them alongside your own journey. This is also a way for you to come and meet me, ask me all of your questions. The thing that I love more than anything about this, or pretty much any time that I get a group of women together in this space, is that we just get to sit in the energy of a bunch of women who get it. And you don't have to say anything, but you know no one is going to be triggering you. They're not going to be coming out with, the ridiculous, stupid statements that we hear so often. It's just such a supportive, beautiful container to be a part of. And it's completely free. So I would love to see you there. All of the details are down in the show notes. If you go to elementpilatesyoga.com/waitlist, you can sign up and get your free ticket today. If you have any questions before the event starts, I would love to hear from you. And I cannot wait to meet you. Please come and join me, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Okay, let's get back into the episode. So if manifestation has started to feel frustrating, exhausting, triggering, then I swear this is the episode that you're going to need to hear. Because when you have already done the vision boards, you've done the affirmations, you've done the scripting, you've been trying to be high vibe all the time, but you're just like feeling that none of it works. I get it. I know exactly how you feel. I have been there. And I want to reassure you, you are not failing at manifestation. It's just that the approach you've been taught or that people have told you will work, it doesn't fit into this journey. Fertility is not some typical goal. Like I said before, it is not just about you. It is emotional and it's physical and it is incredibly unpredictable. There is so much that we cannot control on this journey. As I say so often, it is not 1 + 1 = 2. There is no way to know the outcome. And when manifestation becomes like something else you have to add to your plate, it is not the intention at all. If it's feeling like it is overwhelming you, it's just another thing that you've got on your endless to-do list, and that is not how any of it should work. There's also the pressure of, I have to get this right and I have to stay positive or nothing is going to work. That is also exactly the opposite of the approach that we want here as well, because your nervous system is going to respond to that kind of mindset. Underneath that perceived alignment, it's actually going to just create more anxiety, more fear, and more dysregulation. So it's not just that manifestation isn't working. It is the pressure that you put on yourself that blocks the very thing that you are trying to create. So the problem with trying to manifest a baby is that babies are not something to control or like achieve in the sense that, say, your career goals or your financial goals might be. But we tend to come at it at the same way. We treat the baby the same way as we would the fancy car. And I really hate this subtle messaging that I see all the time, especially on social media, and especially for women who are trying to conceive, that if you do this right, if you do the egg quality diet, if you do the right thing, you follow this process, you will get pregnant. And when it doesn't work, that instead creates within your body tightness, constriction, urgency, fear of getting it wrong. But the thing is, you cannot force your body into receiving. You cannot force your body into creating. You can only create the conditions where it feels safe and able to. And that is the missing piece. That is the missing part that I see so many of these experts completely miss. And that is your physical body. Because manifestation, from what I see, it's really only taught as a mindset only practice. But your body is the one that is receiving when it comes to pregnancy. It is not external. It's not the money in the bank account. It is your physical body. Mindset is important, but your body and your nervous system will outsmart you at every turn if it doesn't feel safe. So to put this as simply as possible, if your body feels unsafe, under pressure, in survival mode, it is going to protect you. And it is never going to prioritize fertility when you are trying to survive. All the vision boards in the world are not going to overcome a dysregulated nervous system. So I want you to think about manifestation as not, I have to think better thoughts, but I need to create safety in my body. And it's not something that we sit down to do. It's not like, okay, well, I've got 5 minutes. I'm going to do my manifestation practices for the day. It's not like something that can be achieved by, sitting down and putting time towards in that way. It's something that we are creating at every moment of the day. And it doesn't matter if you are dysregulated. It doesn't matter if you're going down a negative thought spiral. It's what you do in those moments when you are aware that that is happening. But that can be tricky. And that is what I want to help you with in this episode. So what do we do instead when we are trying to manifest a baby, which can feel so out of reach? Oh my goodness. It can feel like, where do I even start? When nothing works, when you feel like you could be doing the journaling and the vision boarding for the rest of your life and nothing would happen. I have a 5-step process that I'm going to walk you through, and it's both practical as well as embodied. So it's not just there are some action items that we want to take aligned action towards, but it is this embodied practice of coming back into your physical state. So here's what you're going to do. This is your actual step-by-step process that I want to break down into really simple, doable actions. So the first thing is you're going to stop trying to get it right. Release this performance aspect, or release this idea of I have to do things perfectly or do them in a certain way. You do not need perfect thoughts. And like I said, it's not something that we're going to sit down to do. It is what we do consistently, the little moments over and over again over time that makes the biggest difference. I'm not a journaling person. I talk about journaling a lot, and it is incredibly powerful. And I come to it when I can, but it's not something that I am drawn to every single day. So if anything that I am suggesting to you doesn't resonate with you, that is okay as well, because you're going to find the things that really do work for you. I want you to know that you do not have to be in this high vibe state all the time, or beat yourself up if you have a bad day where all you want to do is stay in bed and cry. I have been there as well. I was in like the worst headspace mindset imaginable when the only cycle of IVF that I did worked. I did 3 cycles and had many different transfers, but the only cycle that actually worked for me was the one where I felt the worst. And so it doesn't mean that if you are having a bad day, you're like, this is never going to work, this is never going to happen. If those thoughts are consuming you, it doesn't mean that you are doing anything wrong. I thought that because I was miserable, I would ruin my chances of IVF working. But while I was miserable, I remember this so well. I was living overseas and I'd come back to Sydney to go through IVF with this certain doctor. So I didn't have a house in Sydney. So I was living at my mum's, and I was taking time to read books. I was not working. So I was in this place where I let my mum look after me a little bit. Yes, I was in my 30s, and no, I didn't need her to look after me, but she wanted to. She wanted to make me dinners. She wanted to say, hey, how about we go for a little walk this afternoon? So in this space, even though I felt like I was a mess, like I was in this negative mindset that I couldn't get out of, my body felt safe because I was tucked up in my mum's spare room while she was bringing me soup. It is the small things that we do that can make the biggest difference here. So number 1, stop trying to get things right. Take that off your worry list. Now, number 2, the thing that you're going to do is shift the goal. So it's no longer, I want to manifest a baby. Like, take that off your vision board. Bear with me here. But instead of, I want to manifest a baby, instead what we're going to focus on is, I want to create a body that feels safe, supported, and ready. And this is where things can start to happen on their own. When you shift the focus from what I don't have, this thing that I really desperately want, and shift it into what do I need to feel good in my body today? Not because it's going to get me pregnant, but because it makes me feel better. So what does that look like for you? I love sleeping in. It's like my favorite thing in the world. And I really thought by my 40s I would have become a morning person. I would love that. But no, I'm still a teenager deep down. So maybe you give yourself permission to sleep in on the weekends, or maybe you book in that dance class that you love, but you've been avoiding because you don't want to do it at the wrong time of your cycle, and now you just miss it and it makes you sad. And take yourself off for a massage. Make a list of stuff that you love doing without the lens of fertility, without the, is this or is this not going to help me get pregnant this month? Find things that bring you joy and start doing at least one thing a day that makes you feel good. Like, buy the treat at the cafe when you go and get your coffee. And if you are not sure what feels good or what you need to add, or you just need some new things in your toolkit, come and join me at the end of this month when we go through Embrace the Journey, and let me show you so many incredible ways that you can start supporting your body. So number 2 is that you're going to shift the goal from the baby into the body that feels ready. Now, number 3, you are going to regulate before you visualize. Now, I love visualization. It is incredibly powerful. And it's the one part of that like traditional manifesting process that I think you actually should make time for. I like to do this and I encourage my students to do it before sleep. And the powerful thing about doing visualization practices before you fall asleep is that you are shifting from that conscious to unconscious state. You're going through your different brainwave states. And when you drop into that place of theta, which is just before you go completely unconscious, that is where your subconscious mind is most open and ready to receive. So the things that you visualize in this state, when you come back to them like they're memories, you're visualizing, remember when I got up in the middle of the night, my baby was crying and I brought them to my chest and immediately they just calmed down and snuggled into me and it just felt like they were home. When you can start to visualize the future you want as though it is something that you have already lived, your brain doesn't understand the difference between real or imagined. And I love the studies that have been done around athletes who use visualization before performing their events. And the results are astonishing. Like they picture themselves doing the gymnastics routine perfectly or kicking the goal perfectly and comparing that to when they don't. And honestly, if you want to look up the studies, they are phenomenal. They are proof that visualization really, really works. But we cannot do this from a place of dysregulation. It is a complete waste of time. Do not even bother. Your nervous system will discount it every single time you're visualizing, but it's in this dysregulated state. It doesn't feel safe. It's like, I can't deal with this. So before you make time to visualize the life you desire, whether it is before you fall asleep or you've just got a moment, even maybe you stopped at a red light and you just think, I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to ground myself. And then you visualize from calm and not urgency. And that is where change starts to happen. Now, number 4, the next step here is to really let your body lead. I did an episode a few weeks ago, maybe it was last week, about how to regain trust in your body again on this journey, especially if it's been a long time and especially if you've been through loss. And this is where your intuition can come in. And it's where you can start to build that trust within your body again and what you're capable of. So please go back and listen to that episode if you haven't already. Because I want you to ask yourself every morning or every moment where you feel like you're overwhelmed, you're anxious, you're out of control, what would feel supportive right now? And ask it to your body. Make it a point to ask your body this at least once a day. And notice what comes up. Be aware. And there's no judgment, and we're not trying to fix anything, and we're not looking for a particular answer either. Because sometimes, you'll check in with your body, you're like, okay, what do I need today? And you really don't, nothing comes up to you. Nothing, the sense of what you really, really need in the moment, it's not super clear. Sometimes it is. And it amazes me what comes from sitting in a few minutes of silence and just repeating to myself over and over really gently, what do I need right now? What does my body need right now? And when you can start to tap into how your body wants to communicate, you can connect when you have bigger decisions to make. Do I bank more embryos or do I go for a transfer? Do I go back to treatment or I take a break for 3 months? Do I go for that promotion or new job or finally launch that side hustle I've been dreaming about? Your intuition, it isn't loud. It isn't urgent. It's not panicky. Anytime that you notice feelings like that, that's fear. That is fear, anxiety running the show. But your intuition will speak to you quietly and you won't question it. You'll just know. And the more you do this, the easier it gets. People ask me so often, how do I know it's my intuition? You're not going to know all the time, and especially not at the beginning, but the more you do it, the more you will understand. When it's quiet, when it feels grounded, there is a knowing that you are making the right decision. Now, step 5, the last one, and this is my favorite. You are going to expand your capacity for receiving. Now, this sounds a bit wishy-washy and a bit woo-woo, and this in practice, I think, is easier said than done. But if you are anything like me, you are used to working hard, like getting things done. It's easy just to do everything yourself. Like, give me a job, I will make it happen. So when we are in this space of, I don't need help, I don't need anyone else, I can get it all done on my own, I can control the situation, we get out of this state of receiving. It is that very masculine, that very yang energy of like pushing, going faster, going harder. But we want to flip that. We want to drop into that really feminine energy, that yin energy of receiving. And we can start really, really small with this. Like, what is one thing you can receive today? You can receive the warmth on your face from the sun. Just go outside, close your eyes and lift your chin to the sky and just feel how good it is to feel the sun on your skin. You can rest without guilt. Just have a night off, an afternoon off, a whole day off if you can. There's no guilt. You don't need to be productive at every moment of the day to prove your worth. You don't have to fill up every second of your day. It is so good to create those spaces of silence, of boredom even, and allow yourself to do it without feeling bad. Allow yourself to feel pleasure. Just go and enjoy the things that you haven't let yourself been doing because trying to conceive is taking it away from you. Go and eat the cheese, have the glass of wine, like whatever it is, like this one meal, this one drink is not going to ruin your fertility. Can you ask your partner or a family member to take something off your plate? Maybe if it's just something really small, let them make you dinner. Let them look after you. Receiving isn't just about a baby. It is a practice that I'm very bad at. I will remind myself as I'm teaching you this. It is a practice of reminding your nervous system over and over again that things can come to you without you having to push or work hard or desperately reach for something. And if you take anything away from this episode, I want it to be that. Allow yourself to receive. Now, I've just got a little optional mini practice that you can take with you as we get to the end of this episode. Whenever you are in those moments where you feel like you are spiraling, you're overwhelmed, you can already see it, you're like, what do I need to Google now? I've got 1,000 questions that I'm going to put into ChatGPT. When you get into that state, hand over your heart, slow, deep breath. Say to yourself, I don't need to force this. I know my baby is on their way. I can soften. And do that until your nervous system relaxes. It'll just take a few breaths. When you keep interrupting that default pattern, that place where you keep going back to, it's not going to work for me. It maybe it's going to work for her, but it won't work for me. I've left it too long. And take a reset. Interrupt that pattern, because the more we do it, the more your body learns, the more your nervous system learns that you are safe and you are ready to receive. So as we get to the end of this episode, I just want to remind you some of this language that we see around manifestation. You are not blocked. You are not doing it wrong. And your body is not working against you. Coming back to your body is the missing piece. Manifestation is not about forcing an outcome. It is about creating the environment, that internal environment where something can land. I hope that you have found this episode helpful. I really love talking about this topic. And like I said, just like the practices of yoga and meditation that I teach, like it's so heavily based in science, which manifestation is as well. But that's just like that element that we can't quite put our finger on, where it's magical. It is that woo-woo part of it as well, where, you know, there are so many synchronicities in life where you just think you can't explain that. And that's why I love talking about this. So if you have found this helpful, if you have enjoyed this kind of topic, please let me know. Please share it with someone if you think it would help them. And I would love it if you could leave me a quick written review, no matter where you are listening or watching this episode. A comment, a review would mean the world for me. And come and join me in 2 weeks at Embrace the Journey. And gosh, I am a textbook extrovert. I love getting to meet you all. I love hearing you share your stories and just getting to know you and getting to show you that there is a different way to get through this whole journey. And every month, every week that I welcome someone else into my world, they will say to me, well, I feel like it will work for everyone else, but it won't work for me. And if that's you, I want to show you that it can. So please come and join me. All of the links are in the show notes. And this Friday, we have a bonus episode dropping where you get to hear from one of my students who I met at exactly this time last year. Oh my God, I just got chills. She attended Embrace the Journey. She started working with me inside the In Your Element program, and she's currently pregnant at the age of 44. I can't wait for her to tell you how she did this. Her story is amazing. So tune in then. But until then, I am sending you all of my wishes as you continue your own journey to fertility.
I went through years of struggling through infertility, multiple diagnoses, IVF cycles, and pregnancy loss. And against all the odds, I managed to bring home 2 beautiful babies. So much of this defied logic. And that is what happens when you are able to shift your mindset, regain trust in your body, and find a new way of approaching your fertility journey. This is exactly what we're going to explore together inside Embrace the Journey. In this brand new live virtual experience at the end of this month, I will guide you through a powerful process that takes a deep dive look into how you can sync with your cycle, regulate your nervous system, and overcome all those limiting subconscious beliefs. All of this is with one goal in mind: to bring you closer to your baby. This is a 3-day event that shows you how to use the incredible practices of fertility yoga, meditation, and breathwork to see what is possible. Over the last few years, thousands of women from all over the world have taken this training with so many incredible results. So join the list now over at elementpilatesyoga.com/waitlist or follow the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you there.